the tail down.
The inside of Coates.
Watkins gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Hello, a voice from the past here. I haven't been with the VRRC online for a few weeks, but it's Richard John Neal here, and I was expecting Reeve Taylor to be here. He's broken down, his BMW's let him down, he's broken down at the side of the road, but thankfully we have super sub Becky Aparicio. Becky, thank you very much for joining us at short notice. I know you're probably going to be watching it anyway because you take your duties very seriously, but thanks for bailing us out. Welcome, how are you?
I'm good, very good, thank you, Rich. Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as the super sub. I've been running about like a headless chicken, just trying to get myself organised, ready to. Because I'll have a confession. Actually, normally, if I'm not doing this on a Tuesday night, I go tap dancing. So there you go, a little bit of an interesting fact for you.
Have you ever fallen in the sink?
No, not quite. Although it probably looks like that's what I resemble when I do my dancing. So, but no, it's good to be called in short notice. So hopefully it runs smoothly. Sorry to hear Reeve has obviously broken down, and hopefully none of our drivers will do this evening.
Yeah, we hope that's the case. So have you had to miss out on your tap dancing tonight? Is that something you've sort of subscribed to, is it? And
yeah, it's just a kind of a local class that's on. I must admit, I'm probably one of the youngest people there, and I'm not actually classed as that young anymore. So yeah, it's a lot of, should we say, mature ladies put me to shame and put me in my place. So, but it's a good lot of fun. And actually, again, another little fact, they appeared in Britain's Got Talent about 10, 11 years ago. So if anybody wants to look up the Ruby Reds, they were on that. So again, I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into before I went on. And can I just say, I don't do any of the stuff that they do on Britain's Got Talent, luckily, because yeah, that was I had a shock when I actually searched them again and was like, oh, okay, interesting. So, but yeah, no, again, lovely ladies, don't take themselves too seriously, and that's what it's all about.
oh, cool, that's really good to know. Also on the graphic you saw Steve, who's doing the honours, twiddling in the bits and bobs and following the action for us, and Ian Danaher, clerk of the course, who I met for the first time. I think I met him before, but we had a proper chat at the weekend at Brands Hatch, and we'll talk more about that. And this is the calendar, and I've missed the first 3 rounds for various reasons. So Assen, Bathurst, Pascani, Nurburgring this weekend we're looking forward to. It brings us to the halfway point of the championship. Round 5 next week we go stateside, Watkins, Glen, Interlagos on the 28th of April, Mugello on the 5th of May, and round things up for this series on the 12th of May at Ricardo, Tormo in Spain. So that's where we are in our World Super Touring car. It's kind of like a head-to-head, isn't it? Becky and I were talking about the head-to-head off air, and we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. Championship table, though, fairly tight at the top between Jack Smith and Gabe Norse, our reigning FF1600 champion. And yeah, the gap, only 12 points between the pair of them, so it's going to be an interesting evening this evening. Andy Dorman in third, having a good strong run, around about 41 points down, 43 points down rather, than Gabe Norse. Oliver Gibson should be back with us. Now he is back at uni. I think he's practicing anyway, so he's 4th. And last week's absence will bite hard in the table. Andy Carroll 5th from Tom Potter. Craig Curtis in 7th from Kieran Haynes. And Scott Bugner, Alex Forster wrapping up the top 10. So we'll move the table on, have a look. 11th place Christian Gillian, who's already had a podium, and he'll be looking keen to get back on the podium steps this evening. Kenny Press and Chris Blaney next from Ollie Atkins and Daniel Heaps. Sam Walton, 16th from Paul Laramie, Rich Hayden, Lee Piercy and Caden Cook. Rich Hayden, he's a long way down, isn't he? 18th, have to give him some stick. They'll be trying to climb up the order a little bit more in this one, I'm sure. Let's have a look at our next page. Catherine Potter, 21st, from Jack Dickerson. Jack, I think, is back with us. Did I miss Jack on the... Oh, no, he was. He did one race with us last week. I was thinking he was back, but he was racing last week. I think just did the one race. So maybe technical problems for him. Robert Shepherd, 23rd, Callum Enstone. And John Jones, I think, is injured, I hear, but we wish John well. If that's the case, I look forward to having him back with us at VRRC very soon. So they're all the points, which I don't have written down anywhere. Not until we get to the sort of sharp end of things. Team standings. DK Power are top of the stack at the moment with a good, healthy lead over Team Carbug. Hyro Motorsport are in third from Swift Cooper. The Flying Teapot. Shake and Bake, we gave them their trophy at Brands Hatch at the weekend for the Formula Ford, so they won the team championship in that. And we were down in the lower paddock doing the presentations there with Alan Bowles in the team. So I want to say a big thank you to Alan and Geoff Page for inviting us all down there to Brands Hatch. It was a wonderful, wonderful day out. Some great Formula Ford racing. We look forward to working with them a little bit later on in the season whilst following their championship. It looks like a really, really good championship, the Formula Ford. The Real World Championship, they had to split the races into three. 2/3 of the entry in each of 3 races. Normally you just have 2 and that's it, but Alan's done a great job putting the entry together. So that's our team standings. We'll have a look on to the summary of last week. Now, I had no voice last week, which I think a lot of people would say was probably a good thing. But I did listen in, and Jack Smith, top point scorer from Gabe Norse. Ollie Atkins in 3rd place, and some decent results for Ollie meant that he got the driver of the round as well. I hope that Ollie's going to get on the podium so that we can have a chat with him, because we missed out on talking to him about his driver of the round a win last time, and obviously didn't get a podium in the 3 races to my knowledge, 9th, 4th and 4th. So hopefully we'll catch up with Ollie. It was nice to see Ollie at the weekend as well down at Brands Hatch. I hope everyone enjoyed their day out, taking a little bit of time away from their karting or otherwise. So it brings us to the Nurburgring, a fairly regular circuit on VRRC schedules, and the Grand Prix circuit as opposed to the Nordschleife. I think it was from Nordschleife Racing, if I remember correctly, a while ago. Some fun races. I can't remember when that was, January, February time when we had it, but this is the GP. Either of the configurations is mega to drive, and I'm happy to say I have driven both, and regular viewers will know that I always crow on about the fact that I won a go-kart race here many years ago on the MG Euro Tour. Which was a lot of fun. But this is the track. It's a great venue. It's in the Eifel Mountains. If you've not been, it's a lovely part of Germany to visit. Loads of things to do other than seeing the racetrack. I know Reeve Taylor's off there soon once he gets his car fixed. I think he's going as a tourist and hoping to do some laps of the GP circuit and the Nordschleife as well. And that is very definitely a must-do if you get the chance. Hot lap wise, I think that's coming up next, and we'll be in the company on track with Jack Smith. So here we go on board with Jack Smith past the grandstand on the left-hand side, which when I went hosted a museum underneath. There was, I don't know if there's still a museum building at Nurburgring as well, but it was very well worth seeing. And now look how hard he's having to work to get it around turn 1. Then we come into the left-hander at turn 2, the Castrol curves, a little bit straightening out before we head down into turn 3. This is where we're going now, and this really does make use of the space of this track when it was designed. Now down through turn 4 under the gantry on a short bit of straight, heading down towards the left-hander at turn 5. Fairly short straight, as you can see, and this almost a big chicane really, because now we're going into turn 6, and out of turn 6 we're going to head very slightly downhill. You can see a little bit off camber, and then again kind of left-hand gentle curve before we head down into turn 7, which is called Dunlop. Tight one here, and again watch Jack really working hard to get the car around here. Very slightly uphill now as we start our journey back towards the home straight, as it were. So this is turn 9, so 8 and 9 to curves, a left-hand curve, right-hand curve, then down in towards, you can see Jack now setting himself up to go into the left-hand at RTL, which is turn 10. Short straight again before we get to bit curve, turn 11. Nice long flowing one, very slightly downhill again before we go into the lovely flowing turn 12, which we're coming up to now. Possibly some opportunities here for drivers to get side by side with each other. Out of 12, down towards the NGK chicane. Turn 13 first part, turn 14 the second part, clear of that. Now it's a run down to the final turn, turn 15. Coca-Cola, hopefully all bubbly, as we will be on the commentary. And out of that, through the grid lines and down across the line, and Jack Smith will set the benchmark time here with a 2 minutes 4.87. A good run round a very entertaining Nurburgring circuit. And yeah, always one of my favourites, as I say, particularly as I've been there and had the chance to drive around it a couple of times as well. Who is going to win today? Well, we're going to find out in a minute when we get into our first partially reversed grid race. Becky, this is your, I think, third event of the season and my first one in this campaign. Who stood out for you so far?
Oh, it's probably Gabriel Norris. He's been putting in some good performances, so we've had some good battles between him and Jack Smith. So yeah, someone giving it to Jack Smith's always a bonus in my eyes. Not making it quite so laid back for him. But yeah, there's been some standout performances. Again, Ollie Atkins last week, he had some good defence and just missed out on podiums. So it'll be good to see how he progresses through the season, as you always seem to see everybody get a bit more comfortable in their cars. And then hopefully we've got Jack and Ollie obviously in the same team, the two brothers. Hopefully they'll be able to work together because they've had a few drop rounds between them now. So hopefully, as bad as it sounds, obviously not shipping Ollie off to uni again, but hopefully he's back up at uni, so he's got his sim back in front of him, and he obviously hopefully is on track tonight. So I'm just having a look to see, yeah, he is. So hopefully be a good performance between them two as well, to rack up their points. But yeah, I think again it's been interesting, and actually it's good to see in the practice session just before we went live, actually a few names that. Again, there's been a bit of a mix-up, and I think actually when I looked, I think Jack Smith was about 5th or 6th. So, again, always good to see a bit of a mix-up and some newer sort of faces at the front of the grid.
Yeah, you know, when you get the interview with Jack Smith, he'll say, yeah, I was doing it one-handed earlier on or something, because he's probably eating his pasta with the other hand, isn't he? That's the sort of thing that we expect from Jack, which might be an excuse for being down there in 5th place. But anyway, we're getting ready to go. Scott Bugner up at the sharp end as well. Scott hasn't had a podium yet, has he? Yes, he has had a 3rd in Assen in the Netherlands. So it hasn't been a prevalent podium finisher. So this is a really good opportunity for Scott to get going. I see he's had all sorts of shenanigans in real life with his MG. So hopefully they are sorted out. And it's weird for me, Becky, that this is the first time I've spoken to a lot of the drivers since their real world seasons have got underway. I know for many drivers it gets underway this weekend, because I think there's literally racing everywhere this week. Sadly can't make all of them. I'll be up at Donington, but be keeping a keen eye on TSL to see who is doing what with the other results. It does get a little bit frantic over those weekends. So Forster and Bugner, Kieran Haynes on the second row with Craig Curtis, Thomas Potter in 5th. He's had a couple of wins in this championship so far. Andy Carroll in 6th. And again, all of these drivers at the sharp end pretty much capable of bagging wins. We're into the starting sequence here at the Nurburgring, and we are ready for the first of our 3 World Super Touring Cars Challenge here at Nurburgring. We're going to be watching the drivers come through from the back, as well as the drivers off the front as they go down into turn 1. There's a great shot showing you just how much the track dips away. Not quite as much as Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch, but there is very definitely a gradient, and it's Forster from Bugner. Thomas Potter is in 3rd place from Kieran Haynes. This is all tightens up. You saw on the hot lap how Jack Smith really had to work that car to get it around turn 1. 2, 3 wide here. I'm surprised we haven't had a lot more contact so far. Is that going to happen now as they go through turns 3 and 4? All good so far though, Becky, just sorting themselves out.
Yeah, a little bit of a bump there, and we did have a spinner there. I'm not too sure. Can't quite work out who that was. It might have been Kieran Haynes. So he was towards the front, so must have had a little bit of a tap and has unfortunately spun round there. I was going to comment on the fact that Scott Buckner and Alex Forster were side by side at the start. They actually were at Cadwell Park just the weekend just gone, racing and actually sharing a track again. So that's a nice parallel to the real world as well. Not quite in the same cars. But yeah, same sort of thing. But and we've got obviously a few more edge badges, so there a bit more action going on. I was going to say a lot of the races, especially the first one, has started off quite calm, quite mellow, and then it seems to pick up a bit more as it progresses. But yeah, we're already having a bit of a tussle on the first lap, which again, it's typical. I think it was Reeves saying last week, kind of your typical sort of touring car stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what Rich Hayden wanted. Has he announced the next series yet? Because obviously we've had single seaters. We're now into touring cars, tin tops, and you can probably work out by a process of elimination what is coming up next if you're a casual viewer. And I think maybe we'll do an official announcement about that another time as Potter and Bugner continue to battle with each other. Scott Bugner is out front at the moment. Scott's going to be very, very difficult to pass. He's going to be extremely keen to hold on to a lead and maybe get his first win in this one. They're both carrying 8 kg. Alex Forster back in third has got 0. And then Andy Carroll, beg your pardon, Gabe Norse now up into fourth place. So Gabe's come through, hasn't he? Second position in the championship, absolutely flying. Right, son, down the inside goes Gabe Norse up into third, but look how he has to turn the car hard round there. It was a very good effort indeed. And Forster gets back in. Andy Carroll trying to get in the mix as well there in the blue and orange car, but yeah, Gabe Norse has worked his way through well. Just having a quick, Jack Smith's down in 21st, so this is potentially, Becky, I think Gabe Norse going into the lead of the championship. Yeah,
good haul of points here if he can make sure, obviously, again, as long as Jack doesn't make his way up the road too much, but he's got quite a few cars to get past, so yeah, a good outcome for Gabe Norse there. I was going to say as well, Scott has seemed quite punchy. I think I described him as in the first round, especially. So he seems to be a bit more sort of like, no, actually, I'm going for my race wins. I'm not giving over. And so it's been good to see him in some of the battles. I think again, especially in the first round, it was him and Thomas Potter. So we'll see what the outcome is in this round's kind of racing compared to the first one, because I think Thomas did slightly come out on top on that one. If I remember correctly, but don't quote me on that. I just remember there being a bit of an off, and yeah, a bit of kind of carnage at points. But yeah, I think they both ended up back on track, which was the main thing. But they're tussling now for the first position. We've got Scott taking the inside, and yeah, it's good to see again the difference. It's the Audi versus the BMW. We don't have. I know the Audis have struggled with the kind of starts, so the fact that Scott's managed to get a good start, stayed out in front, and is now managing to keep Thomas behind. And yeah, this battle will probably go on for the whole race.
I hope so. It's kind of what you want to see, isn't it? Thomas Potter doesn't necessarily want a battle. He'd much rather be in front and away. Thomas, I think, has got his circuit racing debut this weekend. It's the VRRC Fiesta Junior Championship at Snetterton, which is being live streamed. But I'm going to be honest here and say, stuff the live stream, watch us on ITV. That's where the real coverage is on the touring cars and the supports as Potter goes around the outside. Sorry, Thomas. Sorry, everybody in FJC land. But yeah, touring cars are where everybody aspires to be. And Scott Bugner holding on. Gabe Norse coming up and challenging now as we get a little bit of action going on a little bit further back with Chris Blakey getting stuck in there in the black, his traditional black and yellow livery, trying to get on terms. Bugner and Potter 1 and 2. Still, if they slow each other up, it's going to allow Gabe Norse right into the mix as well. Really good for me to see Gabe Norse moving over Becky from the superb performance he put in. We know he's a great sim racer anyway, but moving over from the Formula Ford 1600s into tin tops, and obviously we've got Ollie Atkins in the mix as well. So it's great when drivers do migrate and stay with VRRC. And I know they go and race other things as well, but really good to have them along. Dan Heap's having a good, strong run here as well in P4 at the moment. I've seen he's attracted a couple of penalties over the last couple of rounds, but he is so quick, Dan Heaps, and let's see whether he can get up towards the podium. got Craig Curtis in the mix as well. Jack Smith in 19th, so has come back a little bit. Maybe he hadn't finished his pasta. Maybe that's why he's further down.
Yeah, definitely a potential there. Probably a bit distracted. So yeah, now he's got head down, full focus. So, but then obviously if he gets into the top 10, he'll be laughing because we get the reverse grid next race. So yeah, if he ends P10, he'll be starting from pole position in the next one. So he'll probably be focusing on that, not necessarily thinking, yeah, I can go for a win here. Being a bit more realistic and think, right, okay, let's aim for top 10. And then at least it gives you a good start for the next race.
What's the reverse on this one? I've forgotten. Is it top 10 from this reversed or top 12 or?
I believe it's the top 10, if my memory serves me correct. So yeah, this one, first one is your reverse from your championship standings.
Yeah.
And then the second is from your race 1 result. I believe it is your top 10. It could be top 12, but I have a feeling it is top 10. Because I think we had a couple of changes right at the start of the season, and then the last race is a combined of your results, and then it's just there's no reverse on that one either, so it's just our middle one that kind of can get a bit more hectic as we've got very wide line there by Daniel Heaps and Thomas Potter. So I don't know when that happened. So Thomas Potter, I don't know if he had a mistake or Gabe's managed to get past him. So but now it's Scott and Gabe out in front. And Thomas battling Daniel, and they've obviously got their little friendly rivalry always going on between them two. So I'm sure that will get quite heated towards the end of this one.
Yeah, apparently they give each other a lot of stick on social media, which I've not seen. Ollie Gibson trying to give some stick here. Oh, lovely dive down the inside by Gibson on Alex Forster. He's very nearly there. He's got the overlap, but Forster grabs a little bit more momentum. Andy Dorman trying to come up in the mix as well. Dorman, as I say, strong in the championship standings that we saw. 3rd place at the moment, Andy Dorman, and very consistent in terms of the results that he is getting. He's only had one finish outside the top 10 in the races so far. I didn't spot a finish for him in the 2nd race last week, so I'll probably need to revisit the Pascani ones to see whether he did get points there. But that with the 18th place in race 1, that will be his drop round, Andy Dorman. But he's now putting pressure on Alex Forster as we go back to the young Irish lad. Daniel Heaps busy chasing the flying teapot, the 2 teammates, and Thomas looking to grab another win. Currently in 3rd place. Gabe Norse is still fastest lap, I think. Let's refresh the iPad just to get the times updated. No, we've got Daniel Heaps now with fastest lap, 2:05.003 for the 4th place driver, with Ollie Gibson trying to close in as well, and Scott Bugner coming under some pressure now from Gabe Norse. So again, you know, you want to see the likes of Jack Smith having a dice with Gabe Norse, and similarly Scott Bugner, we know he's a very decent pilot, and he's under a little bit of pressure. A wee bit of a lock up there from Scott, and Gabe Norse it is that wants to grab another win. He's won at 2 of the 3 events so far, won a double at Bathurst. That sounds good on any CV, doesn't it? Took the race 3 win at Pascani, and I think was actually off the podium in terms of the first event. Yeah, 18th, 6th and 7th at the first race of the season, or races of the season, Assen. But very definitely getting to grips with these cars, and it is between Bugner and Norse at the moment. Bugner having fended off Thomas Potter in the early stages. Norse, though, is going to be a different prospect, I think.
Yeah, well, we had the very close finish. I say very close, extremely close finish in the last race last week between Gabe Norse and Jack Smith. So we were always kind of rooting for them to have a bit of a battle along with the other drivers as well. But that was very exciting to see, and it was a bit confusing because we had one winner on one screen, another one on the other one, because yeah, the systems got a little bit confused by it all. So it was Gabe Norse that just took it, as we've got Alex Forster still battling Andy Dorman and Ollie Atkins just behind him. So Alex Forster in the middle, trying to get an overtake without being overtaken at the same time.
Yeah, nice little Audi battle going on here, and see whether Ollie can move up. Craig Curtis not that far behind, and then Christian Gillian wrapping up our top 10 at the moment from Chris Blakey. Jack Smith now 12th, and then Kieran Haynes is 13th. So much quality in this. I've got to say, the quality of the drivers, and in terms of expectation of who can win, it's definitely getting stronger all the time in this championship. And you know, anyone in the top 10 that you can see on the timing tower, very much capable of winning. Still Bugner from Norse, Daniel Heaps next up. We're still looking at Alex Forster, who's defending well, doing some good real world stuff as well. At the moment is Alex Forster. Hoping to see him in Legends cars at some point that his dad raced in, or maybe Grand Prix midgets on the short ovals. Would be nice to see him having a go on there. What I'm saying is it would be nice to commentate on him in a real world race as well. So it's all down to budgets though, unfortunately. Even sim racing is budgetary constraints, I think, to some extent, but in terms of real world stuff, nothing's getting any cheaper, is it, at the moment in terms of racing? And Alex is doing a good job here at the moment, although Ollie Atkins has got ahead of him, and Ollie will be trying to get into the wheel tracks now of Andy Dorman. Back to the front, and Gabe Norse is poised here. Steve, our director, has picked up on that. They're going to go side by side. So it is Scott Bugner in the silver and green, and he's giving room for the outside run here for Gabe Norse, who's going to flick to the inside here, but that's going to convert, as you can see, to the outside line for the next corner, and Bugner very much under pressure. Is this going to bring Dan Heaps and Thomas Potter into the mix as well? If they battle for long enough, it possibly will do, but yeah, Norse is poised here, isn't he? Big time.
Yeah, he's just going from side to side, almost looming large in the mirrors, making sure, I'm sure Scott's already noticed him there, but making sure he's not forgotten about him. And again, sometimes that's all you need, that little bit. It's where you see all the kind of flashing lights in touring cars. It's always something to try to put somebody off just for a millisecond, so you can get a run on them. So interesting, he didn't try to go for the cut back quite early on that corner. It was more, I'm going to stick it around the outside and get you on sheer pace. As he goes for the inside there, almost had it, but I think probably had to back out a little bit, thinking actually I might go into the side of him here. But like you say, it's brought your Heaps into it, and Thomas Potter will surely follow shortly, as a little bit of off-roading there as well from Gabe Norse, and I think he's lost the position to Daniel Heaps, and now here we are, here's Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas is going to have a go as well. So Gabe Norse, what do you do here? I mean, do you sort of, he was going for the lead, he's just really not worrying about the battles and just going to try and play for it all he can. Daniel Heaps though, Oliver Gibson now with fastest lap according to my timing screen. He's in fifth, so he's joining the battle as well. So Bugner, Heaps, Norse in third, Thomas Potter in P4, Oliver Gibson is next up. I was going to say this is calming down a little bit, but it isn't, because Norse is going back for third position. And you can see that really have to think about your way around this circuit. You have to know the circuit so well with the twists and turns. An inside becomes an outside and so on as they go around the lap. And Scott Bugner actually getting a wee bit of breathing space at the moment as side by side go with a little bit of mirror bashing between them. And it's Dan Heaps still there at the moment. North's trying to get back in. He's got the inside run here. Thomas Potter might follow him through.
Yeah, and this is working out well for Scott, because now we've got the three fighting behind, or a little bit of a tap to the back of Daniel Heaps there from Gabe Norse, and a spin for Gabe there again, a bit of a sandwich. Obviously tapped the back end of Dan, and then had Thomas at his back end as well. So it's just set him off balance, and unfortunately he's dropped a fair bit down out of the top 10 now. So that's frustrating. So it'll be all to play for in the later races. And again, it's a kind of a what could have been type of race, unfortunately, for Gabe there. So hopefully he'll again, he's very sort of used to all this racing, so he'll probably just think, again, it is what it is. It is frustrating, but you've just kind of got to put it behind you, get on with the next race and make the most out of that one. And again, make the most out of this one. You can't throw it away and just think, no, I'm not doing it. Which again is always great to see. The drivers don't think, okay, well, we'll just, unless there's again major damage to the car and there's no point continuing. But a lot of times they'll crack on, keep the head down, see how many positions they can claim back. For again, the points, obviously you want to try to get as many points as you can, and sometimes it's not always about the wins. It's the races that might not have gone so well. You've got to capitalize on the most points as you can. So, and now it's Michael Gibson up quite though, because he's all of a sudden now he's not far away from the podium positions now, and he can see them. We've got just under 5 minutes to go, so there's still plenty that can happen left in this race. Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned the time, because I've clean forgotten about it. I've not even looked. So if you hadn't have done that, I could have got to the end and I'd have still been rabbiting on and not mentioned it. So
oh well, I did that last round anyway. We literally, it was a second to go. Jack's crossed the line and it just gone down. I was like, oh, the race is finished. Sorry, missed that completely because I was jabbering on about something.
Well, no, that's okay. It just means you're engaged in the race, which is the key thing, and at least it is that engaging, isn't it? I mean, going back to that loss that we had with Gabe Norse, I mean, two things there. One is obviously there'll be Ian Danaher and Rich Hayden will review all the footage and post penalties if needs be, and maybe there was a little bit of overzealous contact there, but that's down to them to do, and I wouldn't want to be a clerk. The other thing was how close is it? Because he, as you say, dropped out of the top 10. So a lot of cars went past very quickly. And it wasn't a tardy recovery by any stretch of the imagination. Just having a quick look to see. He's down in 12th place. But yeah, a lot of places lost in short succession. Scott Bugner still up front though from Dan Heaps. Thomas Potter in 3rd from Ollie Gibson, as we saw. I mean, look at Craig Curtis at the moment in 7th. And Craig trying to put pressure on Ollie Atkins, who's scoring well once again. Alex Forster 8th. Jack Smith now, of course, ahead of Gabe Norse. So there we were, or there I was, talking about how the fact that Gabe Norse was going to take the championship lead in the early stages of this race. Hasn't happened.
You're only back for one round and you've already jinxed people. It's not fair,
job.
is it? And I think actually Craig was running really well at the start, sort of couple of laps, and then I think he went off. I think he overshot a corner. I saw him kind of dart off in the distance, so he's had a good recovery drive to get himself back up because he had dropped out of the top 10 briefly. But he's been on a charge to recover some places and get a nice haul of points again for another driver.
Yeah, doing well, isn't he? So yeah, Scott Bugner and Heaps still there at the moment. Daniel 3/10 down. Has Daniel got fastest lap again? Let's just refresh. Yeah, he has. So Daniel Heaps getting a little bit of a tow and handling extremely well as we go back to Potter, Gibson, Andy Dorman and company. Oliver Gibson in 4th place. Ollie Atkins still performing well in the Swift Cooper car. Nice to see Luke Cooper getting a win in the real world. 3 different winners as well we had in the FF 1600s at the weekend. It wasn't to be Leon Frost's round. I was going to say watch the stream, but it wasn't streamed. But loads of interest and it just makes such a difference, having had those guys on track with us and still having the Cooper team with us in the touring cars is great as well. And let's see what this battle is going to. Oh, okay. I wonder where that was going to go. A little bit of contact, and you can see how very, very easily the cars get pinged away. And are we going to get a ping away here because we're back to the lead battle? And Daniel Heaps is having a go now. Thomas Potter coming up to join in as well. And I think Dan Heaps has seen that the teapot is coming up and challenging, and therefore he realises he's got to maybe get a little bit of a move on and have a go at Scott Bugner, who has defended stoically through this race so far. Really, really good stuff from Scott Bugner. How much pressure can he take, though? Because Heaps is trying to draw level again, as he does now, and he's got to try and work his way around the outside. The tyres are smoking, and Heaps has got into the side of Bugner. Bugner recovers. Heaps is out of it. Thomas Potter's up into 2nd place, and Becky, as you said, Oliver Gibson was chipping away and edging up towards the podium, and he's now got there. We've got 1 minute to go, so they're on to the last lap, but you called that well. Oliver Gibson has worked away. He's been quietly. He's been in stealth mode. Has got up to 3rd. Now challenging for 2nd. There's a challenge on for the lead as well. Potter going for the lead. Is he going to be able to get it? Goes around the outside line. And Bugner again defending superbly well here. Has he got it covered? Yes, he has as he comes out of turn 1. And now Oliver Gibson around the outside of Potter for 2nd place.
Again, it was a great save there by Scott Bugner to not end up going completely round. Just a bit of a drift around the corner and just pray and hope that you're going to make it. And again, you're saying about Ollie going for a 2nd position, but he's probably eyeing up a 1st here with these 2 battling. Hopefully they've not quite noticed that he's right there, and they can keep arguing amongst themselves, and he'll be able to nip through on the last lap. That would be the ideal. It was in previous rounds as well. It's interesting to see how late some people will leave it, especially with how close some of the battles are. It's like, right, do I keep battling and waste kind of a bit of time and energy on it, or do I wait until the last lap, and so then there's no time for them to retaliate afterwards? So it's interesting to see if it will be a bit of a last sort of few corner dash, probably not quite the last one, but see if it ramps up right towards the end between these 3.
I think Thomas is in the worst place actually out of the 3, because does he defend, does he attack? He's got to keep one eye on the mirror really, because Oliver Gibson's having a good go at him. But as you say, it's going to become last few corners are going to be absolutely important here. Scott Bugner has done, I think, a magnificent drive in this one, regardless of what happens on the last few corners, just to defend well. He made the most of that start up towards the front, soaked up pressure, soaked up as whatever has been thrown at him in this one. It's been absolutely magnificent so far. Here we go then into 13 and 14 for the last time, and now Oliver Gibson is having a look around the outside of the Coca-Cola corner. The run to the flag is going to happen, and it's going to be Scott Bugner, I think, that is going to take it. Drag to the flag. Let's see whether they get it. It is Bugner that gets it. So Scott Bugner takes it. Thomas Potter, and really status quo on the last lap for the top three, with Andy Dorman coming through in fourth place. Again, good strong finish for him. Daniel Heaps in fifth. Craig Curtis sixth from Ollie Atkins. Then Jack Smith in 8th place from Alex Forster and Kieran Haynes. Gabe Norse was 11th. That's going to be just outside the top 10 reverse, isn't it? Shame for Gabe. Sam Walton in 12th. Good result for Sam. Then we have Andy Carroll from Chris Blakey and Christian Gillian. Lee Pearcey 16th from Cat Potter, who beats Caden Cook. Rich Hayden 19th from Jack Dickerson and Robert Shepherd. We'll talk to our top three after this break. It was lovely seeing the advert for the Formula Ford 1600s, and sorry to bang on about it again, but we did have a fab day down at Brands, and in the week I was up at Mallory and talking to one of the drivers that's in Fiesta Juniors, and he's looking at when he graduates from Fiesta Juniors at the end of the season, coming in to do the Formula Ford Festival with one of the super classic Formula Ford cars. So it really is starting to capture the imagination of a lot of young drivers now, which is mega. Well, let's talk to some young drivers, starting with Ollie Gibson, who finished in 3rd place. Welcome back to the fold, Ollie, and yeah, good stealthy performance there, very nearly a second, possibly very nearly a win as well. Talk us through.
Yeah, pretty intense, to be honest. I'm a little bit sweaty, and it's race 1, so that's always a good sign, but I got unlucky on the start, I think. I'm not sure who it was, but someone spun and I had to go quite far off to avoid him, so that's unfortunate, but no, I'm happy with the pace, and obviously after that coming back through and getting into a podium place, so yeah, shame I couldn't quite get there for the win, but no, still happy with that, and it's a good first race to have, so it's all looking good so far.
Yeah, I mean, decent points, and also, you know, with you're 4th in the table coming into this one, and that's with a non-start for your drop score, so that's pretty impressive, really. And you were the sort of first of the top drivers to come through, so that's a good opener, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much how I wanted it to go. Obviously, the win would have been nice, but no, this championship's been going well so far. Obviously, the drop round is unfortunate, but nothing I could have done about it. So, but yeah, no, just more rounds like what I had at Assen would be good. Less like Bathurst. So far, it's going like Assen, but yeah, obviously they've got 2 more races, and then so yeah, we'll see what happens. But my pace is good, I think. So yeah, just see how it goes. See if I can avoid lap 1 things, and then yeah, see where we end up.
The only thing I was going to say, we've got the Formula Ford format now, haven't we? Where it's the top scorers drivers off the front in race 3. But it does mean that you've got to do all the work again because you're, fairly well reversed in race 1, and you got a good result here, so you're going to have even more work to do in race 2. So, but the job will be to earn a front row slot for the final.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I think it's one place back for this one, so
yeah,
I probably won't notice much. I think I'm on the other side, so I should be on the inside, I think. So see what happens. But yeah, no, the aim is to get that front row start in race 3 because that helps a lot. That's the plan, but you never know. There's such a bottleneck of a turn 1, and then turn 2 and 3 don't help either. So it's you got to keep your wits about you. But no, I trust these guys, so and lady. So see how it goes.
Yeah, you say that now, but
yeah, well, that's a different thing. As soon as I get tapped around, I'll whatever. No, it'll be fine.
Yeah, stick in a protest, video evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Ian Danaher sorts it out. Anyway, well done, mate. Good to chat to you, Oliver. Welcome back to the fold and to uni and studies. It's all hard work now, isn't it? Back studying.
Yeah, I don't have long to go. To be fair, I've got this week and then an exam next week, and I should be done. So.
And you've got to ship all the kit back home.
Yep, that's gonna be fun. So. Yeah, not looking forward to it.
Very good. Wish you well with the exams,
Thank you.
And also the remaining races. We'll catch up with you a bit later on.
Cheers, thank you.
Oliver Gibson, third place, second position. I think definitely my first chat of the campaign with Thomas Potter. Well done, Thomas. P2. Lots of pressure on Scott Bugner at varying times during the race, but he defended well, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not gonna lie, I know interview's obviously my interview, but I am ashamed for Daniel, as he definitely would have probably won that race, and that's I actually let him past. I was like, we're on comms, so I was like, all right, Daniel, I'll work with you. Go on through on turn 1. We'll go chase him down, which we did, man. Unfortunately, bit of a tap round at the chicane, but at the end of the day, Robin's racing. Although I don't think Rich would be happy with me saying that, but yeah, overall an amazing race, and I think I made all my overtakes on the start.
Right, okay, that's pretty good. And how are you shaping up for the weekend? Because you've got your Fiesta Junior debut to look forward to.
I was scared you wouldn't ask. Absolutely amazing. I mean, this is kind of a warm-up for me right now, ready to go into the real one. But tomorrow I've got a test day, which is going to be incredible. And I've been nervous all week because my race gear came 2 days, the night before the test day, which I was pretty scared for. But now that's all sorted, so I'm really looking forward to the test day, and obviously race weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Is that at Snetterton you test, or are you testing somewhere else?
Yeah, at Snetterton.
So basically, I mean, this is one of the things I was talking to somebody about at the weekend. People moan about the Touring Car Championship, you have to go midweek and this, that, and the other. But junior racing as well, it's like half a week, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not complaining one bit. Although I am, because this one's in the half term, and I would have definitely loved for it to be next week, so I got to miss a Friday off school. But definitely, yeah, I don't really mind when it is, as long as I get to be out in a race car.
Where are you going to finish? What's your prediction for your races?
Between my teammates over at BPC, we're hoping to get in the top 20, but obviously as a racing driver, always hoping to win. But I think with probably quite a lack of testing I've got compared to the other drivers, I'm hoping with a top 15 finish in the end. That would be sweet for me. But not only that, just getting some good racing and enjoying the weekend, because if you're not enjoying it, there's no point racing. No,
and to be honest, you've got to treat it as a first year. Occasionally you get someone that, I mean, Tom Leben did it in Ginetta Junior with a bit of testing, went out and won in his rookie year. But realistically, for most drivers, it's the first year is being at school, it's learning.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to struggle with the testing at the end of the day. Can I just quickly say a huge thank you to all my partners in my car, and Freya over at Rare Founders, and James, who's they've all been talks with Plato Racing, which is pretty interesting, and looking forward to that one. And obviously they've been a massive help in hoping to get me out and get me enough funding ready so we can get to Silverstone and have a meeting with them at the race weekend at Silverstone.
Nice one. We look forward to seeing you there. Clock's ticking down, so I'll probably need to flick over to our winner. But well done, Thomas, and good luck for the remaining races.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
And our winner is Scott Bugner. Well done, Scott. First win of the campaign. I've got to say, you were an absolute star performer for me and Becky with you know, defending whatever was thrown at you. Super job. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was it was hard work. Bumped around a little bit, put sideways a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, we got the win out of it, and yeah, I'm definitely not on the pace, but I'm happy with what I got.
You just say you're not on the pace. You just got to win. So
That's the main thing, really, isn't it?
yeah. So what was last week? So I've got non-starts last week. Were you prepping for real world racing? You've had a few dramas, I think, in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, we had a fire at Donington. The oil filter housing cracked, and the oil went on the exhaust and it caught fire. So
Wow,
obviously
that's scary, isn't it?
It was. I looked in my mirror down the back straight, and the next minute I see a flame in the car, and I was like, I better get out. So yeah, we had that, and then obviously only had like 2.5 weeks to get an engine built, engine put in, track day, run it in, and then jumped in at Cadwell this weekend, just gone, and got a 4th and a 5th, and got fastest lap in the second race in the wet. So the car's definitely there. It was just I had a misfire at the start of race 2, which put me down to 8th, but managed to get back up to 4th with the fastest lap. So yeah, it was good.
People can watch that because I think that was streamed, wasn't it? So
Yeah, it's on the VRRC YouTube
yeah,
channel.
boo. No, I'm not saying boo just because I don't get to work on it. They should very definitely ask me along to get involved in those. I would love to do some Bark stuff actually. Well, mind you, having said that, I am this weekend because it's Bark touring car meeting, isn't it? So
Yes, it is. I'm actually going to be at Donington, yeah.
oh wait, well come and say hello. We'll get you up in the box and you can see what we do. So yeah, make sure you. Which day are you going? Both days or just?
I won tickets with Napa, so me and Jack Dickerson and my missus are going to be going up on the Sunday.
Oh great, okay, yeah, we'll say hello then. We got a really busy one because we're actually filming some of the racing on Saturday as well for the first time with the F4. So yeah,
I did drop you a message, yeah.
yeah, please do, mate. And you could probably nip in and see Kenny Press as well if you've not met Kenny before because he's.
I met him at Donington a few weeks ago, yeah.
Excellent. There we go. It's all us networkers all chatting about that. Thoughts for race 2?
I mean, I'd love to do this time again, but I'm about 6-7 tenths off of the quickest time. So as long as we can just get some points now, because obviously I missed last week, so just get some points and have some fun now.
Excellent. Well, a cracking drive, mate. Real joy to watch that was with all the pressure that you soaked up. You know, sometimes you see drivers that bottle it, but you know you were there right the way from the start, right the way to the flag, whoever it was. So yeah. I was going to say best race of the series so far for me, but it's the only one I've commentated on. So I think I'll rephrase it and say that the other drivers are going to have to go some way to do a better defensive performance than we saw there. It was top notch, mate. Well done.
I'll never let them have it easy.
Exactly. Elbows out on the way through. Elbows out to keep them behind you.
Absolutely, that's my motto.
Nice one, Scott. Brilliant stuff. Good luck for race 2 and 3.
Thank you.
So there we are. That's our podium complete as we head towards race number 2 of the evening, and everyone's sounding quite chipper, Becky, from the interviews, but they would do because they're on the podium.
Yeah, very perking, especially Thomas. Obviously, looking forward to his real world debut. So yeah, very bubbly interviews there, which was lovely to hear. And yeah, we'll see what this race brings. But yeah, it's interesting to see Scott's like, oh yeah, I'm just not really on the pace. It's like okay, it's worrying when you get up to speed then. And also, you're making me all very jealous with all your networking and going to racetracks and all this. It's definitely something I need to get better at doing. So, especially when
we need to get you along to
everywhere.
we need to get you along to some meetings at some point. So,
yeah, let me loose in the real world. It's a scary.
What's your nearest track?
It would probably be Croft, I reckon. It's about 2 hours from me. Again, I'm in a place that's just not really accessible for anywhere. So I'm kind of Croft. Then Alton's kind of off to my side, but I think that's about a 3-hour drive. And then obviously I've got Snetterton just below as well because I'm literally right on the east coast, outside of Hull, but literally on the like the peninsula.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, pretty far away.
Blightly sort of way.
Yeah, but luckily a lot of the roads around here, because it's country roads, they would make a really good racetrack. My partner always says we need to get them like loaded into a sim.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Another good idea is we'll have a look at what's going on for the race, which is about to get underway. Kieran Haynes and Alex Forster on the front row of the grid for race 2, having finished 10th and 9th respectively in the first race of the evening, with Jack Smith now already up into P2. So Jack Smith here, seeing that perhaps this is an opportunity to get up onto the podium. And look at the line that Smith was taking, very wide there. It's all about cutting in. He knows how much turning in he's got to do on turn one. Maintains second position, doesn't really close in on Kieran Haynes, but it's Haynes out front from Smith. Forster again up in potential podium positions with Craig Curtis next up. Daniel Heap 6, Thomas Potter already, Heap's 5th, beg your pardon. Thomas Potter already 6th from Ollie Atkins. Gabe Norse, Andy Dorman, Scott Bugner still in 10th. Good start though, Becky.
Yeah, again, nice and clean for the time being. We always say that, and it tends to not actually be the first corner that catches anybody out anymore. It tends to be later on in the lap where it's like everybody thinks everything's settled, and it all kicks off towards the end of the first lap or the start of the second. We've had a little bit of a tap there. And again, unfortunately, Daniel Heap's been spun round there because I think there was a fair bit of contact there that caused that. But again, and then Lee Piercy caught up in something just behind there. I just saw the bright yellow of his car, so I'm not too sure who the other driver was involved with. There was more than one. But again, like we say, a bit calm to begin with, and then there's bound to be some sort of action in the first kind of couple of laps.
Yeah, if they calm around 1 and 2, then the accidents are going to come on turn 3. Again, it's a thing that can happen in the real world, isn't it? But Haynes from Smith at the moment, and they'll settle down over the first couple of laps, very possibly. Scott Bugner running well. I was just having a quick look to see where Oliver Gibson was. He's lost a wee bit of ground from his start of 10th position. No, he hasn't. He's come up into 6th according to the timing. So he was down in 11th, but he's really made a super few corners there, Ollie Gibson. He was 11th off the start, lost ground off the start, but then has come back into it. Maybe with those shenanigans that you were talking about. But it's Haynes and Smith at the moment out front, and they're the ones we focus on coming out to complete lap number 1 out of Coca-Cola. Down the straight, Smith trying to work out where there is going to be maybe a little chink in the armour of Kieran Haynes at the moment. It is Haynes who leads them down into turn 1. Now, Jack Smith was very wide the first time. This time goes for the lead, gets it. Is he going to maintain this or not? Yes, he does. Super move.
Yeah, I think with Ollie Gibson again being in the beam of the Audis, there was quite a few Audis towards the front end at the start of this race. So whether they just didn't get as good a start, because again, the sheer force of the Beamers always seems to give them a better start. So whether he managed to catch a few people off guard there, but then in the straights, the Audis have a 2 mile per hour advantage, which Scott probably appreciated in the last race, especially right at the end, getting to the finish line. Those 2 miles an hour were all he needed.
It did seem to be the case, didn't it? As we look at Craig Curtis in 5th place, switching back now to Ollie Atkins, who is in 8th. Thomas Potter down behind him, but this is an opportunity for Jack Smith to get some points on the board. And again, it's going to be intriguing to see where they all wind up for race 3. It's good that I think Alan Bowles sort of, when we were having the reverse grid race 3 with the total points reversed, I could see Alan's logic. It's not really the thing to do in Formula Ford 1600, so he brought it over as well into the touring cars, which I think is good news, because I must admit, I do love a reverse grid race, but there's something to be said for rewarding the drivers for doing well in races 1 and 2 and giving them that third race. And I don't think I was disappointed with any of the Formula Ford races, the race 3s anyway, having the fastest guys off the front. You know, sometimes you can see a good performance with the driver streaking away as you would expect them to do if they've earned that pole position. But equally, we saw a few battles as well, and either way, whether it's a dominant performance pulling away, I don't mind seeing that because it underlines how good a driver is. But equally, if we get a battle, that's good to look at as well. There's a battling going on down the order that we're looking at right now. Smith from Haynes, Forster in 3rd place. There is Chris Blakey, who is down in 12th place at the moment, fending off Christian Gillian. Christian had his first... I don't know if it's his first VRRC podium. I don't remember Christian being on the podium, but in one of the rounds that I wasn't here for, as Chris Blakey again looks down the inside, very frenetic at the bottom end of the top 10, and Thomas Potter down in 10th now. So Thomas has lost a little bit of ground. He's lost 1 place on his start, being P2 last time out. But interesting to hear. Becky must spend so much time, Thomas, on sims and in race cars. He was talking about test days, and he's always on the sim. One wonders whether he does actually do any schoolwork.
Well, I know he has admitted before in one of the interviews he did have a friend doing homework on one day for him.
He did, didn't he?
But yeah, as he goes for an overtake there, but it clearly it pays off, doesn't it?
Oh!
All the time? As he loses it, but I think actually luckily Ollie I think it was Ollie Watkins, or it might have even been Chris Blakey just behind that have managed to keep him almost on the straight and narrow, so kind of helped correct him back onto the track. So I'm just almost actually like, yeah, thank you for that. At least it meant he didn't go all the way around and all the way off the track.
He's lost a little bit of ground there, hasn't he? Ollie Atkins trying to close in on there. Scott Bugner has sort of stealthed his way up into 8th. I think he'll probably be happy with 7th or 8th if anyone else falls off. And, you know, good points to be just inside the top 10 to add to his win from earlier on. He could possibly repeat his race 1 win at the end of this. Gabe Norse, though, is making amends. Now, bear in mind, Gabe Norse here started outside of the reverse grid positions here, but has got himself up into 4th. So while we saw a stunning defensive drive from Scott Bugner in race number 1, we're seeing a super attacking drive here from Gabe Norse up into 4th place, dicing hard with Craig Curtis at the moment, and this is the Norse we know and love.
Yeah, he always puts in some good performances on a Tuesday evening, does Gabe, and again highlighting the race last weekend. Well, last weekend I've done a you there, Richard, calling it the weekend, falling into the trap. Yeah, he did well to obviously battle with Jack Smith, and again probably the closest finish there's ever been. Or it's definitely one that I've seen in the VRRC was, I think it was 5/10 thousandths of a second between them, or even 5. I think it was milliseconds between them.
Yeah, really, really close, very evenly matched. As we say, the top 10, I mean, probably 12, 15 drivers really very, very closely matched. Really good battling going on here with Craig Curtis and Oliver Gibson. Ollie here is going to score well too, isn't he? Because he was podium in the first one and in 6th position here. So he's, again, made really good progress in Hopcavern-backed car. Andy Dorman behind him, Scott Bugner in 8th, Chris Blakey and Thomas Potter 9th and 10th at the moment. And we've got Andy Carroll, who is next up. Fastest lap with Kieran Haynes at the moment. So good shout out for Kieran in P2, having a very good run. And there is Gabe Norse and Craig Curtis. They probably need to try and work together to perhaps close in on Kieran Haynes. But yeah, Smith and Haynes have got some sort of comfort gap at the moment, to be fair. Let's see whether this battle for 3rd place is going to change. It does. Gabe Norse, lovely move down the inside and up into 3rd place. Are they going to work together? This is the question. They've got a big gaggle of cars behind them. Haynes goes through in P2. Jack Smith comfortable still in the lead, 2.1 seconds clear, and a 3.6 second gap back to Gabe Norse. On board with Oliver Gibson, 6th place. Now we'll start to think about, he's got the tantalising view of another potential podium here with the cars in front. He's got some work to do. He might just want to consolidate points. Carries momentum here. Car spears off. Oh, dear. It's getting very, very frantic out there. And here he goes up the inside now. Goes Oliver Gibson past Andy Dorman up into 5th place. Gabe Norse has dropped another 10th on Kieran Haynes at the moment. Kieran's still the fastest driver on circuit. Ballast-wise, Jack Smith 10k, the race leader. Kieran Haynes on 6, Gabe Norse on 9, Craig Curtis 3, Ollie Gibson on 7. So Ollie Gibson's performance in race 1, again, pretty heavy car. So doing good stuff is Oliver Gibson, if I'm not putting the curse of the comms on him.
Yeah, fingers crossed he doesn't have any incident now as you've just lined up perfectly for that. But I think some of the times I know again it's new cars, it's new championship. I think some of the times when the drivers get so used to having a ballast on their car, it's almost like it just doesn't really affect it. I wonder if in practice and things like that, and when they're doing, again, not even on the practice server, if they do any outside the server as well, if they put that ballast on and be like, actually optimal, I'm going to be leading the championship, I'm going to put the most ballast on to get used to how the car handles with that, and do different sessions where you have your different ballast on to get used to how it differs and how it varies, how that car handles on each track, especially with Nurburgring, where we've got elevation changes that are going to upset the car. And again, like we saw in the chicane, if you ride a curb too much, it knocks you completely off balance, and you can only think that's going to be exuberated more when you've got more weight in your car.
Yeah, you'd certainly think that, and yeah, plenty of testing required to do decent results here. I was thinking again, what you were saying about that, I was thinking about some of the drivers we haven't seen so much of down the back, and because we're not getting full reverses anymore, it means we're not seeing the likes of Robert Shepherd, Cat Potter, Caden Cook, and the drivers that are trying to get into that reverse grid zone at different times. So it'll be maybe nice to see some more. Lee Piercy's off the boil today, isn't he? I'm looking at 21st position, and Lee Piercy is a regular winner with us, normally there or thereabouts. We've got Scott Bugler coming under pressure from Andy Dorman, or Scott just passed him. Needs a lap charter really here. Jack Smith still out front. Kieran Hayes, 3.2 seconds the gap. Gabe Norse has managed to claw a little bit back, 3/10, maybe a little bit more over Kieran Haynes. And this is a great battle with Bugner and Dorman, and Scott Bugner really getting stuck in. He's got Chris Blakey down behind him. Thomas Potter now in 9th position. Ollie Atkins down in 11th. Rich Hayden running a little bit stronger in this one. He's in 12th at the moment on the timing tower. Alex Forster is down behind him, and we're just over the halfway stage of this one, but looking relatively settled out front at the moment for Smith and Haynes.
Yeah, they've looked like they've got a nice sort of, even Norse as well, he's got a nice sort of gap that he's running in. Not too much pressure just yet from Craig behind him, but can probably just about see Kieran up ahead as well to spur him on. But yeah, it all changes quite quickly again if you just have a bit of a wide sort of corner, and then all of a sudden a closing pack comes in quite quickly, because they'll be pushing the whole way through as well. So yeah, you don't take it for granted too much, and you can't kind of sit back on your laurels and think, oh, it's fine, this is we can chill out a little bit because, you know, I've got a bit of a gap. As again, I reference it quite a lot, the amount of times we get Jack in the comms afterwards for his interviews, and he's like, oh no, I've literally pushed every single lap, I'm knackered. And just to build that gap more. So again, you've got that kind of safety blanket of, again, if something major happens and you go off, at least you've got a bit of time to recover in, that hopefully then you're not going to be, like we saw in the last race, drop out of the top 10 from your kind of your podium positions just by having a small off. And again, not even a full off, just a spin on track, and then obviously trying to avoid all the cars and rejoin safely. But yeah, Scott's still trying to get past Andy. I don't know if he's managed to do the Andy going very wide around that corner. I was surprised he didn't get him at one of the corners earlier, because it looked like Dorman had a lock up, but he still managed to make the corner on the inside of Scott. So Scott's like, finally, I've got that done. So he's just got to keep him behind now, and I must say, most of the drivers in the Audis, especially when they seem to get ahead of somebody, or and they're defending, the Audis seem to be very wide cars.
They do, yeah. It was certainly a very wide lead car, wasn't it, in race 1? And remember, Scott Bugner said he's not on the base at the moment, but there he is going up into 6th place. Super stuff from Scott Bugner. A couple of little mistakes, and again, as Becky was talking about, the mistakes that you make, and that's the reason why Jack Smith says you've got to be on it 100% all the time, just to build up contingency. And the more contingency you got, if you do make an error or get a little punt or something like that, or a back marker doesn't fall the right way for you, then you can eat into that a little bit. So yeah, it is concentrated. You can't relax in racing. That's why I'm not very good, because I'm not very good on focus all the way through races like this. On board with Thomas Potter now, though, so a revisit to the teapot. He's down in 9th place chasing Chris Blakey. He's got Andy Carroll behind him, just looking in the mirrors to see whether we see. Oh, bang! I felt that one, did you? That was a little bit of a bosh on the back end from Thomas, just really trying to get into close racing. We hear it can be a feature of Assetto Corsa, that can happen. Thomas has backed off for the moment, so he'll renew the challenge on Chris Blakey. We'll see whether he can get up into 8th place, and he's already got a podium under his belt, so he's going to be towards the front in race 3. Just realising what I was saying earlier, I might start looking at my stats in a slightly different way, to look at the drivers that are outside the reverse positions a little bit more when we get into some of the future rounds. And certainly need to do that from a driver of the round perspective, because there might be guys that are making decent progress outside the top 10 that we otherwise might not pick up on. So again, if someone's done that outside the top 10, I've missed it, I apologise. But at the moment, we're with P4. Craig Curtis looking back at Oliver Gibson. Ollie trying to, well, I was going to say look for a gap, but he's not looking for a gap at the moment. He's just trying to get himself on the tail end of the 4th position car to mount a challenge. But it's going to be a good score from Ollie once again. 4th in the championship. Remember the championship standing: Smith, Norse, Dorman, Gibson, Andy Carroll, Thomas Potter in 6th place as they arrived here virtually in Germany. Smith now the gap, oh no, it's come down, the gap's come down from 2nd to 3rd. Smith is now 6 seconds to the good over Haynes, and Gabe Norse has got the gap to Kieran Haynes down to 1.3, and we've still got 4 minutes to go, so he might have a grandstand 2nd place finish potentially in the offing.
Yeah, well, we should have asked Scott last interviews, because we had a discussion last week about the tyres and if they dropped off, and a lot of the Beamer drivers said, especially for the track last week, the tyres didn't really fade towards the end. It was only if you had a spin and you overheated your tyres that you had to obviously let off a little bit, let them cool back down, and then you could push again. So we never got round to asking any of the Audi drivers if they noticed any sort of drop off, and again, wonder if Haynes has felt it maybe a bit more, again maybe pushed a bit more. But I think the general consensus has been actually the tyres seem to hold off well. But again, it's a different track, so we might actually see a bit more kind of wear on the tyres this time out, which drivers are obviously feeling, especially towards the end, which is why we're getting people managing to close gaps a bit more, because they might have managed the tyres just a little bit better during the races. Yeah, Norse is closing in slowly but surely on Haynes with just over 3 minutes to go as we start another lap.
He's having a go, isn't he? So this is probably the penultimate lap then of the race. I think, yeah, I'm doubting my mathematics there. So Kieran Haynes in P2 in the darker car, Norse in white and red, trying to close in, which he has done admirably, but it's also bringing the likes of Craig Curtis and Oliver Gibson into the mix as well. So if we have a 4-car bun fight by the end of this lap to go on to the last lap, we could have an intriguing finish on our hands. Jack Smith, though, one would be very brave, probably a bit stupid to bet against him taking a win here. 4th win of the campaign in the offing for Jack Smith. Kieran Haynes at the moment in P2, looking for his maiden win in the competition. Kieran did have 2nd place at Assen in race 2, and so it's been running pretty strongly. Oliver Gibson still looking to try and move up another step as well. I think Oliver will have outscored his brother in the 2 races we've had so far, so potentially I think pole position for race 3, and now it is side by side for 2nd position. Haynes and Norse, our 2 relative newcomers to VRRC, having a good one of it. Haynes under big pressure, keeps it over largely towards the inside, now tries to get a run here, so he's trying to defend whilst getting the best line that he can into the corners. A great battle between these 2 BMWs.
Yeah, let's hope they keep it nice and clean as we're approaching kind of some of our tighter points. As Norse just gone off. I'm surprised he actually managed to keep it fully kind of in somewhat control. Obviously went wide, but didn't career too much off course. But we'll be fast approaching the chicane, which obviously caused a bit of an incident in our last race. So it gets very tight very quickly. So just keep it nice and clean. No contact. I think there was a little bit of a bump to the back end of Haynes there, but that doesn't tend to cause too much upset. It's more the sidewards knocks that definitely cause a lot of upset. But yeah, like you say, it's brought Curtis and Gibson into the battle now. So we've got 4 cars fairly close together, as we've got 2 going side by side as well for I believe that is still Norse and it's Craig Curtis in between there. He snuck up in there, so he's battling now for P2 as we've got everything kicking off now. Haynes unfortunately lost out a bit there, but he's stuck it on the inside, so he's hoping to reclaim his position back as P2. But yeah, it's Craig and Gabe now leading the way, with Ollie just biding his time quietly in the back again. You said stealthy in the last race, so I think that's exactly what he's going for this time round as well.
Super stuff we saw on the previous lap with, Norse and Kieran Haynes passing, repassing, good, clean, fair racing between the pair of them. Then we saw Craig Curtis getting up into 3rd place as they went over the line, but couldn't maintain that outside run. and he winds up in third position. It could be a podium for him, but he's still under pressure from Kieran Haynes, who wants to get back on the podium. Although, having said that, as you said, we've got Oliver Gibson looking around the outside as well. But at the moment, it's Jack Smith 10 seconds clear of Gabe Norse on this final lap of the race. And I think the battle now is going to be for fourth place. Gabe Norse looking very settled in P2. I'd actually already written him down as P3. The pen of doom has struck Kieran Haynes here, because we've got Craig Curtis up into third position now as they go under the Goodyear gantry. Jack Smith still away. Norse under pressure from Craig Curtis. And Craig running well, so Audi chasing BMW and the two Beamers behind. And look at Oliver Gibson trying everything that he can. He wants those extra points just to solidify the pole position that he'll get here. And also, of course, championship-wise, it will come into play. But further down the track, Jack Smith is already on the grid lines and ready to take the virtual checker here for race 2. Bags another win. Jack Smith takes the win. And it's Gabe Norse 10 seconds down. Here comes Gabe. He's going across the line. It didn't actually quite seem like 10 seconds, did it? I think he closed up. It was 11.3 in the end. So Smith takes the win. Gabe Norse is in second. Craig Curtis takes third position. And, well, who'd have called that with a couple of laps to go? Kieran Haynes, though, excellent spirited drive for fourth place once again. Oliver Gibson fifth, and Scott Bugner, who got some decent points out of that as well. Could be a Bugner-Gibson front row, I think, potentially for race 3. Andy Dorman in 7th position from Thomas Potter. Andy Carroll 9th from Ollie Atkins. Following Ollie, it's good to see Ollie in the top 10. Christian Gillian from Alex Forster. Lee Piercy made his way through right from the back up to 13th. Sam Walter next from Dan Heaps and Rich Hayden. Chris Blakey 17th at the end of the day from Cat Potter and Caelan Cook. And then Robert Shepherd and Jack Dickerson completing our runners, and a chat with Messrs Smith, Norse and Curtis coming up in just a minute.
Early stages of the second Legends Cars race.
One of our other previous series, we had the Formula Ford advert after race 1. After race 2, we get the Scottish Legends. Wish them well for their opening weekend coming up with Superlap Scotland this weekend up at Knockhill. A capacity grid for Scottish, 34 Scottish Legends cars, and you'll be able to see them on ITV later on in the year as well at Alton Park and, of course, the home circuit of Knockhill. But we're bringing things back virtually to the Nurburgring now. I'm going to have a word with our third place driver, Craig Curtis, third place on the podium. And you managed to get around the outside of Gabe Norse going down the straight, going on to the last lap, but he just managed to nip back in front going into turn 1. But a great podium for you, well done.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. I thought Pascani last week was stressful, but yeah, Nurburgring has thrown up quite good racing the last 2 races. So just race 1 was a bit scrappy off me. Just, I don't know, not race rusty, but yeah, just not sure what happened. But race 2, starting from P4 again, was made a reasonable start compared to the Beamers, and just tried to rein in Gabe and Kieran. I saw Jack just disappearing off. I thought, well, there's no chance of getting in, but if we can try and rein him in. I had Ollie behind me as well, the other DK Power Boy, so it was a fun race.
Are you enjoying? Are you doing? I know you missed the first event, and I've not spoken to you since Formula Ford days, but I can't remember. You're not doing all of these, are you?
Yeah, I missed the first round. I may be missing round 7, which I think is Mugello. But the others, I'm hopefully all good for. So yeah, I'm not going to win the championship, but I've had a podium in every round so far. So every round that I've been in anyway. So yeah, long may it continue.
So you probably need to canvass for more drop scores, don't you? Really?
Pretty much. I did mention it when he pitched the idea last time. I said, "Can we have 2 drop rounds at least?" So I mean, with a shout, but alas, it's not meant to be.
What's the real world like for you at the moment? What are you up to?
Yeah, just work. It's my wife's birthday next week, so big birthday. I'm not going to say which number, but yeah, so we're out pretty much. Yeah, so we're out and about for that with family and friends and whatnot.
Nice.
So I might be a little bit delicate on Tuesday next week, but hopefully I'm not going to be in that much of a state that I can't drive. So fingers crossed.
Hair of the dog, I think, is probably required. We were chatting to a guy at the weekend. We went to the motorsports school at Mallory Park, and one of the guys there was telling me the guy who won the Hot Rod World Championship '79 used to have 2 whiskies before he went out to race back in the '70s.
That's not a bad shout, actually. I might try that before race 3 now. Get some Jack Daniels on the go.
Yeah, would Jack Daniels beat Jack Smith?
Oh, I think so, especially in race 3. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, don't drink and drive, kids. If anyone's listening, we're not giving the wrong messages out, just to make sure we redress the balance. But yeah, I was talking about the '70s and. Wish your missus a very happy birthday and have a good weekend. You're not taken to a racetrack, are you, by any chance, this weekend?
Oh, I wish. But no, I'll go back to our hometown and having a bit of a rave up there, so it should be fun.
Oh, fantastic. I hope it's great. I hope you enjoy it. It's nothing like a good family bash, so good luck for that. Cracking stuff, mate. Lovely to have you back on the podium. Well done, Craig.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate it.
Craig Curtis is opposite. Always great to have different drivers coming up, but actually Craig's a regular, so it's not really a different driver. Always great to have a NASA with him, and also Gabe Norse, who winds up in P2. Gabe, we missed you at the weekend down at Brands for the presentations. I think you were away racing yourself, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But well done on P2 after a frustrating race 1.
Yeah, race 1 I was making up quite a lot of ground and caught up to Scott. Felt like I'd been a bit pushed out on the final corner on one of the laps, and then it kind of all just snowballed from there. And then when I spun, my car wouldn't go into gear, so that was fun. But yeah, it was a good race too. Kind of just damage limitation.
Yeah, really sterling stuff from you, and really resilient, I think is the word. You never, good drivers like yourself, we don't see stuff get into your head. You come back and bang, there you are. You weren't even in the reverse grid section of the race, you were outside of that, and you still came back and a very healthy P2 with a lot of overtakes. And we were saying that there was some very hard defensive work done by Scott in race 1, and for me, we can say Jack got away and did what he had to do, putting in the good laps, but yours was the focus of the good attacking drives, and that was probably drive of the race there.
Yeah, it was overall very good race. I was able to just make my way through the pack and constantly had Craig right behind me, which was fun.
Yeah, it was a good battle between you two in the closing stages. Now, I know you couldn't make it for Brands, but I can't remember where you were working, but we gave out some of the prizes at the weekend. What were you up to at the weekend? Are you racing somewhere?
I was just revising for GCSEs. I couldn't really make it down there because it's about a 3-hour drive for me.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
And have you had the exam already, or have you got them coming up this week?
I don't actually have exams for, nearly a month actually. But I'm just trying to revise and stuff at the moment.
That's fair enough. Wish you well with those. What sort of subjects are you enjoying?
None
of them.
Yeah, not really. It's just a lot of content, but no, I quite enjoyed doing business and geography. So yeah.
No, business will certainly stand you in good stead for a racing career, and geography can be kind of the interesting one as well. You get through, but great that you're getting a little bit of R&R time on the sim. Does that also preclude a little bit of practice? Does it mean that because you're studying,
a bit of practice here and there, but yeah, I haven't really done too much for the past 2 rounds, which hasn't really hampered me, luckily. So
anyway, tell us a bit about Sim Demon, who you got on the side of your car.
There are lots of different sim gear and ready packages and stuff. for people to just buy and play with.
That's pretty cool. You probably need to come on and give people a discount code that they can use.
Yeah, need to try and do that.
Or get one for yourself. Hopefully they're looking after you nicely anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good stuff. Gabe, super drive, mate. Very well done. Always a pleasure to get you on the podium. And we did give you a shout out at Brand, so your ears might have been burning on Sunday when we mentioned how well you've done in the championship. And hope we can get you in a Formula Ford at some point, which would be good, even just for a test or otherwise. It would be well deserved. But good luck for race 3. Can't wait to see what you do in our third race.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done, mate. Gabe Norse in second position. And on to our winner. My first interview with him of this series. Obviously, it's our first, my first event of this particular campaign. But well done to Jack Smith. And Becky was saying during the race, Jack, about how you can't afford to let off. You don't relax. You've just got to focus on those laps 100% to give yourself contingency as you went on. And it looked like you did that. 11 seconds clear at the end. Is that how it was?
Yeah, pretty much, mate. I was annoyed in practice. I couldn't get below a 4.9. I don't really know what was happening, but yeah, it felt a bit strange. And then got into this second race, and yeah, we were a lot faster in 4.6s. So I was just chasing Delta basically that entire race, just trying to see where I can find a bit more time. And yeah, figured some bits out. And yeah, race 1 gave me an opportunity to figure out where the best moves could be made. So I hope I can mix the two in race 3. But yeah, it was a solid race, to be honest. It was nice to battle with Kieran again. He's always nice to race with. I'm not really sure what happened in race 1. He sort of just let me by twice. But yeah, no, either way, it was a good race with Kieran. But yeah, no, quality. Looking forward to the next one.
I was a bit flippant with the practice times. Now, I think I said that you were probably driving one-handed, eating a bowl of pasta or something. So I apologise for that, because I thought I'll better own up to that now, because the folks at the Hop Cabin will probably tell you anyway. But I'm sure that's happened at some point. You said, "Oh yeah, I was doing something else at the." Oh, I know what it was. You'd gone on to practice for the next round when you were doing.
Yes. Well, yeah, I was doing
that. Was it? Yeah. So it wasn't quite. I eat my words. It wasn't you eating your pasta. I've got the only eating your words. But yeah, so you sorted it out and a good run and clear. But yeah, loads of work to do in the final, because there's so many quick people up the front now, aren't they, with this format?
Yeah, 100%. I kind of like it. The final one is like a proper final, where it's just everyone goes all guns blazing, and yeah, I think it works quite well. Yeah, race 1 for me was a bit unlucky. I think I don't really know what happened. I think I just got caught in an incident that was going to happen regardless, so just got spammed around. So it was a run from the back to front. Yeah, but I think I really found the pace in race 2. So yeah, but with the guys up front, I think it should be a nice little battle. Hopefully we can make it last the whole 20 minutes. That'll be some spectacle to watch back, wouldn't it? So yeah, let's hope for that, and yeah, we'll keep on pushing.
Have you had any real world out? I know you were sort of going to tracks, and where are we with that now? Because it's probably a good 5 or 6 weeks since we've spoken.
Yeah, so looking for opportunities in a minute to get out. I've got a few quotes. It's the only thing going to real world in it. But yeah, no, I visited the DK Power guys recently and seen the old shell I used to race in. And then yeah, the new build's coming on really nice as well. So Dave's been sorting that one out and getting a mic all over the car, and it looks insane. It looks really, really nice. So yeah, I can't wait to get behind the wheel. Lots of testing for me in that, so lots of track time for sure.
What license do you hold at the moment on the circuits? Is it a National A, a National B?
Just a race club, mate. It's just a basic sort of entry level one, so I can do like 750 motor club and stuff. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, I was going to say there's a few Legends cars that are offering deals at the moment to try and get people out on the touring car weekend. So.
Interesting. I'll have to see how that works.
I can't remember how many. I can't remember what license requirement is for that, but I know there's a couple of people trying to hire cars out. Yeah. Steve's telling me we've got to crack on with the next race. Did you want to do a couple of thank yous?
Yeah, just a quick shout out to everyone watching at home, the Hop Cabin, Lee at the Hop Cabin, my parents, my girlfriend's watching as well. So big shout out to those guys. And yeah, anyone else who's watching who I can't remember in the short amount of time I've got left, I'm really sorry. But if you are watching, thank you so much, and I appreciate everything you do.
Well done, Jack. Super stuff, mate. Don't forget Jack's Racing School if you want tuition on anything in terms of sim racing or real world racing, Jack is the man to talk to. You can find him on social media. Jack Smith, our race winner. Well done, Jack. Good luck for race 3.
Cheers, mate. I'll slip you that tenner later.
Totally. There we go. Race 3 coming up. Rich Hayden, the future's so bright he has to wear Ray-Bans. I've never noticed the Ray-Bans on the back of the car before, Becky. Do you think he's getting a deal?
Oh well, it should be if he's got it on the car. Surely that's part of the deal, isn't it?
I think so. I can't remember if he had his shades on at the weekend at Franz or not. I have to look at the social media pictures. So this one's not reversed. Oh, we're into the race already. Goodness me, I'm talking far too much. Steve was right. Scott Bugner and Jack Smith then on the front of the grid. Oliver Gibson, surprised to see Oliver on the second row, but we were away and racing, and Scott Bugner gets a good start. Jack Smith's going to try and make the most of it down into turn 1. Will he keep it tight as they go downhill? He's down in P2 at the moment, and it's the two brothers vying for first and second. Bugner's going to have a look down the inside, but it's the brothers 1 and 2, and we've got Thomas Potter coming up as well. Thomas has scored pretty well, and it gets up to 3rd place. This is the sort out, lefts and rights, and we won't know really until they start to head down out of turn 4 and under the gantry as to how they've sorted themselves out. But it is Jack Smith out front at the moment from Oliver Gibson, Thomas Potter, Scott Bugner back in 4th. And then Craig Curtis, Gabe North 6th from Dan Heaps, Andy Dorman, Kieran Haynes gets past Andy Dorman, Ollie Atkins wrapping up the top 10. Good solid start from everybody and an intriguing race in prospect here, Becky, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've had a few bumps along the way. There's quite a lot of collisions that have come up on the timing screen, but I think they've only been minor ones. So just probably closing speed and all of a sudden ending up quite on top of each other with how close obviously everybody is at the start of the race. So a few taps here and there. So that will hopefully settle down. As like you said, we've got the two brothers leading the way. I wonder if they rehearsed that move into the first sort of corner, because like you mentioned before, Jack takes quite a wide line into that. Like he goes all the way out. And Ollie, as we've got Andy Dorman doing a little bit of off-roading, Andy Cabell managed to avoid him very nicely, as we see Lee Pearcey then making the most out of that and has got himself up into to the top 10. I was going to say earlier, sounds a little bit harsh, but Lee Pearcey, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd probably have no luck at all. It either seems to go his way or it really doesn't, bless him. And it's always so heartbreaking to see. Sometimes he'll have a good run in and then all of a sudden he'll be knocked into or loses the car, and then other times he'll come in and absolutely smash a performance out. So it's that whole sort of if you didn't have the bad luck, there'd probably be no luck at all.
Yeah, he's a proper peddler, isn't he? And you've nailed that absolutely right. And so too is Scott Bugner, who's said he wasn't on the pace, now goes up to third, actually gets past Thomas Potter there with a good move, and them squabbling allows the two brothers to start to get away. We're on board with Scott, and you can see he's putting a bit of air between himself and Thomas Potter, who is racing hard there with Craig Curtis and Gabe Norse in the mix as well. Potter hangs on to it, and it's Gabe Norse down behind him in 5th position at the moment. This is where the squabble is going to be, I think, for 4th position at the moment. Bugner will want to get some air between themselves and this battle. Norse, I think, was having a quick look up the inside, has a wide run here. Norse won't be worried about Daniel Heaps behind him. They're both very quick pedallers, but Norse is going to be thinking about Jack Smith and championship points in this one as well. So those 4 very much involved. Down behind them we've got Kieran Haynes, Ollie Atkins and Andy Carroll. So I was going to say things starting to calm down a bit, but we're getting a little bit more of a settled picture as we head towards the end of the first quarter of this race. I'm going to check my phone, see if anyone's messaged about driver of the round yet.
That backwards camera angle was very sort of panic-inducing, or at least for me. You can see why sometimes if you're looking in your mirror and you see, in that instance, 3 cars hurtling towards you and you're just hoping, just please everybody brake in time and don't plough into the back of me. And luckily everybody managed to stop in time. But all it takes is that misjudgment. As we've got a little bit of a knock there between Daniel Heaps and Norse, so I think Norse has slightly dropped back a bit there, and it's brought Craig Curtis back into the fight. So 3 of them going at it.
Yeah, but they all are, aren't they? And Daniel Heaps, I'll tell you what, Gabe Norse here is probably just trying to get the measure of what's going on between these drivers. I'm not sure how much racing directly we've had between Gabe Norse and Daniel Heaps, and a lot of drivers will say they like to understand, you know, the modus operandi of people that they're going to race with. So it might be here that Gabe's just going to take stock of what Daniel Heaps is about. We know that Daniel will, if there's a gap, will go for it, and well, he's got a couple of cars between himself at the moment and Gabe Norse, but Norse down in 7th place. We're on board with Norse. He's going to have a look on the inside now as Heaps just cuts across there as he made his way out of the corner. Norse is going to have a look down the inside here, and Heaps will carry on the outside and try and maintain the outside line for the inside run as they come out of turn 4. And there's contact between the pair. Oh, fair play. Heaps just managed to back out of that. If he'd have kept his foot in there, that would have been a turnaround, but he backed out of that nicely and backed off. And that was good stuff from Gabe Norse. Read that well. Very physical stuff from these guys. And I won't say 100% clean, but there's definitely been a little bit of rubbing there. But they're all getting stuck in and having a good go. Kieran Haynes in the mix as well is running well too. But yeah, good physical stuff, and everybody's still on track, which is the main thing.
Yeah, it's why reverse grids tend to always throw a few spanners into the work, because you might not necessarily be racing against people that you're used to racing against, so you've learnt the kind of their style and how they go about attacking or defending. So like a good point with Norse and Heaps, we've not necessarily always battling side by side, of then learning what each driver's about, how risky are they going to be on some of the corners? Are they going to go for a late lunge, or are they going to bide their time a bit more? As again, Andy Carroll's gone a little bit off there, not quite off-roading, because it looked more like a bit of a tarmac area compared to the grassy area. But I still think we need an off-roading sort of drifting rally championship or something. That would probably be a lot of carnage, to be quite honest. But I'm sure it would be a lot of fun. We might not actually get a finish. As Daniel Heaps did a little bit of took that curb quite aggressively and went a little bit airborne.
Yeah, he paid the price there, didn't he, for going over the curbs, and that's a really good thing to see in sim racing. The curbs aren't just flat; they do actually throw the car off camber and off kilter. And Daniel lost a little bit of ground there. He was busy challenging Gabe Norse, but can't really build on that anymore. We're now focusing on Thomas Potter, 4th position, trying to close back in on Scott Bugner. Good move by Scott Bugner, who might be one of our contenders for driver of the round. Similarly with Ollie Gibson or Jack Smith at the moment, and probably, what is it, Basil Fawlty specialised subject is, or specialist subject stating the obvious, as they said in Fawlty Towers. But yeah, top 3, I guess it's an obvious thing to say as we look at Chris Blakey trying to fend off Andy Dorman. Andy's had a reasonable run of points as well, but I think we're probably at the moment looking at one of the top 3 for driver of the round, either Smith, Gibson or Bugner.
Yeah, until you've probably given them the commentator's curse, and we'll have all 3 of them go off again. Fingers crossed, nothing to do.
Then we'll have to give it to Thomas Potter because he's 4. But yeah, we'll see how that all works itself out as Chris Blakey in 10th place chasing Ollie Atkins. Just looking further back, yeah, Lee Piercy no luck again, down in 18th, Caden Cook 19th. So Jack Smith only a second clear of Ollie Gibson at the moment, with Scott Bugner a second and a half adrift of them, and Thomas Potter right in their wheel tracks as well. Chris Blakey trying to put an outside move here on Ollie Atkins. Ollie's a cracking quick youngster. Great to have him on board with the series in 9th place at the moment, and having a good old race here as we now ride back on with Thomas Potter. So Potter trying to repass Scott Bugner, who Scott that did the honours earlier on. So coming around that final turn, what can we see from Thomas as he goes along the straight? It really is a job this weekend to know where to look in terms of results first, because I say there is racing pretty much everywhere. I mentioned the Scottish Legends are racing, we've got touring cars, we've got Fiestas on, a great bill that the VRRC put on this weekend with the Mazda Championship, the Fiesta Seniors as well. So wherever you are, there's some great racing to be had. I'm still not going to waver from not going to Donington, because Donington we've got F4, we've got Minis, we've got touring cars. I don't know if you looked at the touring car entries as we're talking touring car racing at the moment, Becky. Anyone you fancy for this year's title?
Putting me right on the spot there.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's Tom Ingram coming back, and I don't know. It's we'll see how the cars look. I'm interested to see how the Plato team gets on. That's always interesting, a new sort of car that's not been on the grid for a while, and mix it up a bit. A different manufacturer, so that's always something to look forward to. Just be good to obviously get some action underway, and again, I know you're obviously always gonna say everybody should be watching that. Just get multiple screens set up. That's what I tend to do. I'll have literally laptop, iPad, TV on if I'm allowed to, of all the different race series on, to try to cover as much as I can to keep up to date with as many people as I can, especially when, like I say, last weekend we had Bugner who's battling with Thomas there and a tap there, and don't think Scott's managed to save it as nicely as he has done before in the past. So we'll see if Thomas might back up and say, actually, that was my bad there, or if he's just gonna.
He's not, is he?
No, he's just going to go and be like, if you give me a penalty, you can give me a penalty, but I'm going to make a gap, and hopefully it's big enough.
He's been listening to you, and that was a subconscious. Becky said something about tap earlier on, and let's do it.
Yeah, it's got into all their heads. They're like, yeah, that's what everybody should do, just a tap here, a tap there. No, don't do that in cars. That never ends quite as well, unless you're in the safe kind of dance hall with your tap shoes on. Then that's okay. Tap away. But yeah, no, it's been good to actually see, and especially after commentating on these series, to then actually tune into some of the streams and stuff and be like, oh, I know that driver. Not quite, because I've not had the pleasure of meeting anybody actually in person as such yet, but to be able to say and actually be like, oh, I can root for these people now. So that's always good. But like I say, yeah, multiple screens should be set up around the house at all times on a race weekend, especially when we've got so much action going on.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan. I won't be able to do it at work. It'll tell me off if I'm watching 750 Motor Club at the ITV.
Yeah, I don't think you can quite get away with that, but I'll
really.
give you updates.
Yeah, ping the stuff through. That was Scott Bugner's not going to be too happy, I don't think, with TP on that one, but it was just a little tap. Didn't push him off, but it did push him off kilter. Gabe Norse, where's Gabe and Daniel Heaps? He's still ahead of Daniel Heaps, so Norse in 6th, Craig Curtis up ahead of him at the moment, and Craig with a podium in the previous one, having a decent run. Let's see whether Gabe can close down on him. 1.5 seconds the gap. Jack Smith to Gibson, Thomas Potter 3.4 seconds down, and then Scott Bugner trying to close in again. Will he be able to get onto the podium here? Scott Bugner, I think he's championship-wise is going to possibly haul himself into the top 6 on points with this round. And remember what we said at the beginning of the programme, this is the halfway point of the campaign. Watkins, Glen, Interlagos, Mugello and Paul Ricardo to go before the end of the campaign, before we go GT racing, if I'm not letting the cat out of the bag too much. I know Rich Hayden's actually got pretty much the rest of the year mapped out already for championships, and I think with the opportunity maybe to double up on some weeks as well, as we have done before, because we've got another official championship in the offing as well before the end of the season, which is something to look forward to. Meanwhile, Gabe North is looking forward to closing in on Craig Curtis for 5th position. Daniel Heaps not that far behind as well, keeping in touch too. So Potter and Bugner go through it. It's not a huge gap, is it, back from Bugner to Curtis at the moment? So podium positions could still be an issue. 7 minutes to go. We could have a podium battle on our hands before the end once again.
Yeah, especially now Craig's got Gabriel behind him, pushing him along as well. So it's that will get him trying to get up the road to make sure, one, he doesn't get overtaken, and then hopefully they could both end up on the podium with the way if they keep pushing, and again, if anything happens ahead of them. Interesting to see that actually compared to Jack's obviously lead in the last race. They've not really broken away massively. There is a bit of a gap, but it's not obviously again anywhere near as much as last time. Again, it will probably only grow, but they seem to be actually holding formation. Maybe a little bit more chilled. Maybe the energy's kind of sapping a little bit towards the end with how much they've had to fight these cars around this track. And yeah, be wary of all the oncoming sort of overtakes and defending. So yeah, I wonder if they're just thinking, actually, let's just have a bit of an easier one for the last race of the evening.
Yeah, it could be right there. It is taxing, isn't it, doing it? And it's taxing being in the commentary box as well, isn't it? Let's be honest. hard work for us as well. Let's not just take it all away from the drivers.
I know I'm sweating over here as well. You know, real hard work on our end as well. So yeah, credit where credit is due for us.
Yeah, I think we deserve that. Back with Gabe Norse though, really on the case of Craig Curtis now, and Craig is if they work together, they can start to nail in Thomas Potter. Sorry, Scott Bugner, isn't it? In front, not Thomas Potter. So Gabe Norse having a go. He's obviously aware of the fact he's got Daniel Heaps behind him, and this is real physical stuff here. Much more than my commentary, I've got to say. Here we come then, round that final turn. Let's see, little tap there. Is that going to push the car wide? He's trying to squeeze his way up the inside and can't quite do it. I think Gabe Norse maybe backed out of that, maybe realised he was a little bit too physical. Fair play from Gabe there. Let's see what he can do with Craig Curtis down the straight. Craig was slightly faster in line previously. Now Daniel Heaps coming up and looking at the inside and goes for the lunge around the outside. Can you have a lunge around the outside? Usually on the inside. Gets it all squirrely. And fair play to Daniel Heaps for having a go. Do like to see a driver having a go. And that's exactly here what Gabe Norse is doing on Craig Curtis. Craig really having to defend. I don't think there's going to be too much chance of Scott Bugner coming under pressure. Certainly from Craig Curtis. Job done now by Gabe Norse, who gets up into 5th. Or is it? Is he going to be able to hang on to this? Daniel Heaps is coming back as well and getting in the mix. I think it is going to be Norse, isn't it? Because he's got the inside run on this corner. And Daniel Heaps is going to try and do the same thing, but the twists and turns are going to play out differently for Dan Heaps, who's round the outside, trying to keep space as well. Runs a little bit wide there. Craig Curtis maintains 6th position, but Gabe Norse is through, and I think now probably away up into P5. I'm not sure whether he's going to have time. 4 minutes on the clock to close down on Scott Bugner as these two go through the gravel. Daniel Heaps getting ahead of Craig Curtis. Physical stuff from those two.
Yeah, I think Daniel Heaps was more of a send it round the outside and then a definite lunge there on the inside on Craig. So, again, like you say, numerous times, I'm pleased we don't have to decide on any sort of penalties or decisions like that. We'll see if they get called in to obviously plead their cases. Because, yeah, like you said, that was quite a lot of contact there. And as much as, touring cars, you always have that, as Thomas put it very, very poetically, rubbing his race them. Especially when you're so close, and touring cars, it always has that little bit of kind of it's not quite as give mass amounts of room. It's no, you want to be close, you want to basically be able to touch the other driver, which is always the exciting thing about touring car racing. But there has to be a line sort of drawn at some point, so we'll see what kind of jurisdictions will come out of this race, because there has been a few moments that might have caught the steward's eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you go over the line, if you just go that a little bit too far, that's what brings the steward into play. And it was lovely meeting Ian Danaher at the weekend, and just a really calm demeanour, which is what you want from a clerk. And I've not seen him clerking on track, but I know from meeting him, he's got exactly the right demeanour to be able to deal with the kind of situation you're going to get in the clerk's office. So it's great to have him on board with us, and it was a real pleasant surprise to learn that he was, moving on. Well, not moving on from, but staying with us at VRRC to help out with the clerking of this. And it's great for the drivers having a real world clerk involved as well. There aren't too many virtual championships that have that, and it adds a little bit more weight to what Rich Hayden and the team are doing, as far as I'm concerned. We're looking at Kieran Haynes though, at the moment in 10th position, trying to close down on Ollie Atkins. There is the Swift Cooper logo. As I mentioned, Luke Cooper having one of the 3 wins at Branch Hat. Tom Hawkins, who co-commentated with me at one of the virtual F4 races, took the first race win of the day. Harrison Morrow, who commentated with Jack Oliphant, got a mega win, beating Tom Hawkins in race 3. Super racing. It's a shame it wasn't streamed, because it really was 3 excellent races from the Fords. But all really nicely related, all 3 winners with a good tie-up with our virtual reality racing club, Super Classic Formula Ford 1600 E-Series. As Daniel Heaps runs a little bit wide, or a lot wide actually, and Craig Curtis manages to get him back. So Craig will feel that's a little bit of karma there, Becky.
Yeah, it will feel like the wrongs have been righted at least a little bit. So gain that position back, but now, probably a fair bit back, obviously, now from Norse to be able to mount an attack on him with literally a minute to go now. So unfortunate there, but like I say, at least that's kind of somewhat sorted itself out. I don't know if necessarily, again, like you say, Ian will say, well, it kind of righted itself if there was ever going to be a penalty before. If then you say, well, actually, no, we won't do it, or if you're still going to give a penalty, because I suppose if they do it once, you can kind of say, okay, that was a mistake. But if you have, especially if it accumulates over a race kind of evening, I didn't say weekend, I nearly did. I thought about it. But at least, yeah, you kind of have to think, actually, no, there's some driving that you have to, say, no, that's probably going a little bit too far. As we've got Andy Carroll having to fight off Daniel Heaps now. He's obviously going for the overtake as Andy, after Daniel's had that off and lost that momentum, and maybe a little bit of kind of focus and trying to collect himself again. So Andy's thinking, right, this is my time to pounce and get past him. But Daniel's not giving up too easy, is he?
No, he isn't. Another classic bit of racing, and Daniel and Andy having a good old thrash at it. Where are we doing on the clock? We're at time, actually, so this will be the last few corners for the guys. Jack Smith still out front from Oliver Gibson. Jack Smith with fastest lap on the iPad as well. Oliver Gibson second. Thomas Potter will complete the podium. It's going to be a 1-2 for the brothers, replicating what happened at Assen in our first event of the campaign. The gap is 2.3. It's not quite a cavern of a gap, but Jack Smith did hop into the lead in the early stages.
Lovely stuff, that.
Thank you very much. I wondered if anyone would be to get his lead, and he's worked hard all the way through this to grab another win. That's going to be 2 out of 3 for Jack Smith. He's still the only driver, I think. Well, as Gabe Norse's had doubles as well, but a second double of the campaign for Jack Smith, who takes the win. It's going to be Oliver Gibson in second position, and it's a 1-2 for the guys that lead the team championship. Thomas Potter comes home in third position. It's going to be Scott Bugner in fourth, and then Gabe Norse in fifth position from Craig Curtis. Andy Carroll will be he's still ahead of Daniel Heaps, who's down in 11th place at the moment. So let's just go back. Andy Carroll finishing 7th, Craig Curtis 6th, Andy Carroll 7th, Ollie Atkins 8th, from Alex Forster, Sam Walton in 10th place, Daniel Heaps 11th, Chris Blakey in 12th, then it's Andy Dorman with Lee Piercy. Got up to 12th at one stage, down to 14th in the end from Jack Dixon. Kieran Haynes is next up in 15th from Cat Potter, Caden Cook and Rich Hayden in 18th. So well done to everybody, and thank you everyone for taking part this evening. Another break, and we'll have a word with our 3 podium finishers and our driver of the round in just a minute.
I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and Helen was always there, supporting me through everything. Today, we're facing a new challenge. Helen has been diagnosed with a terrible disease. Dementia is nothing less than a worldwide epidemic. Formula One moves fast. By contrast, medical research can be painfully slow. We want to bring some of our Formula One technology into the laboratories. Our charity, Race Against Dementia, will help to accelerate the pace of dementia research. Let's beat dementia together.
So, welcome back. I'll tell you what, you know, that footage that we see there, the car in flames, just still is a terrible thing to see on that video of the charity that we're supporting, Race Against Dementia. The great work being done by Jackie Stewart in there, and we, vocally support that. So if you do see anyone rattling tins around the racetracks, feel free to dig deep and help them. We're going to go into our interviews now, and we'll catch up with our second chat of the evening with all of these guys. Starting off with Thomas Potter in P3, and probably, Thomas, well done getting on the podium. Interesting race that you had with Scott Bugner.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a bit argy-bargy when I got shoved off onto the grass in the last corner. And then just a bit argy-bargy, which is not what you want to see in racing at the end of the day, but still pretty good drive to come to third and ram me outside again of turn 1 on the start, which is pretty incredible, but as well as an amazing race by Jack and Ollie as they were flying up front.
And are you straight on to practicing at Watkins, Glen, or are you going to be doing a bit of sim work for Snetterton now?
Well, you kind of said it yourself there, Snetterton practice. Probably not going to be practicing with Watkins again until Monday or Tuesday night, to be honest. It's one of our top priorities, but obviously getting ready and prepared for Snetterton is definitely number 1 by a long shot.
Who you got with you at BPC? Tell us a little bit about your driving teammates and maybe about a few of the engineers and stuff there.
Here we go. So long story short is I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, it's my first season with BPC. What I do know is we're an amazing team behind them, and one of the previous drivers they had last season I've raced with in karting, and one of the drivers from last season has progressed to Janetta Juniors. So what I do know is that we're an incredible team, capable of incredible results, and I'm going to try and do my very best to do one of them incredible results. And my teammates have been really helpful. Neil and Hayden, they've been incredibly helpful on been messaging them on Snapchat, and they've gave me everything I needed to know and gave me all the help, and even going to lend me some stuff for it, which is absolutely incredible. I can't thank for them as being amazing teammates. I can't think of anyone else more amazing to have as a teammate other than maybe Thomas Harper is my long-term best friend in karting, but he's gone with 2010.
Yeah, 2010. They're all good outfits actually in the Fiesta Championship. All of the teams are really friendly and always enjoy spending time with them. And how does it feel being in a championship where, you know, we've got a driver on the grid in F4 this year, Daniela Sutton. You know, so how does it feel being in a championship where we've seen other drivers make the move up into single seaters? And you know, I'm guessing you'd love to be able to do that, but it's a real step on the ladder, isn't it, juniors?
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible to be racing against someone in Formula 4. It's going to be a big challenge, but honestly, I don't fully know how to say other than I'm going to give it my best go against them all, because that's all I can really say. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, nobody knows the pace of any other driver, so I'm going to guess she's going to be an incredible driver if she's managed to get into F4, and it's going to be a good challenge to try beat her and everybody else.
We wish you well. I hope you enjoy it, and we look forward to catching up with you next week, and hopefully we'll have some real positives to chat about there. If not on the real track, certainly on the sim. I know it's been a long journey for you, but I hope you and the family enjoy it, Thomas, and best of luck, mate, this weekend.
Absolutely, thank you, and a quick shout out to all my partners in my car once again. Sheila Lubricants, a massive thank you, as well as Marin 22 All Caterham and Sylvie and the Ollie Foundation and Ben Automotive, which are some charities I'm bringing into the actual car world. And a huge thank you to Signwriters for getting my helmet wrapped completed, and then huge thank you to BPC for sorting out a wrap, which has been able to get done in 2 days, ready for Wednesday to tomorrow, and obviously race weekend. And a huge thank you to all you commentators and Rich Hayden for sorting out such an amazing championship.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Good luck again, and well done on this evening. Nice to have 2 podiums. Good stuff, mate. Second position goes to Ollie Gibson. So another podium for Ollie. Not a bad evening's work, really.
No, not that bad. Just the second race could have gone a little bit better, but I can't really complain. So yeah, that one was good. Just I would have liked to stay with Jack a bit more, or at least for a bit longer. So I got a little bit of work to do there, but overall, just it was a good round tonight. But yeah, just looking forward to the next one. So
Becky was wondering whether you had a plan with Jack, you know, about what you were going to do on the run down to turn 1 in race 3. Did you both chat before that, or did you just take your own space, as it were?
We never chat. Never chat before races. The only time we chat before races is if I ask him for what fuel to put in. So
Right.
no, I just followed him. I just follow him, easy enough. And then obviously that allowed me to go up the inside, but yeah, not enough. So yeah, I tried staying with him, and then there was a move I could have done into turn 1, I think second lap, but I was like, I don't know, you know, whether it's risky or not. So but you know, I just tried staying with Jack, seeing what I could learn, but obviously only got maybe a couple laps before he was off down the road. So I'll just have to watch it back instead.
I think it's moved you up ahead of Andy Dorman in the championship, so you're up to third now. So, good progress this evening.
Yeah, very good. Just means I have to start further back next week. So, always fun. But every point matters. So, and obviously, I think for me anyway, I want to win at least get top 3, and then obviously, I think we both want to win the team. So, so 2 good, good points for us. So, we'll keep it going, and obviously, was it 4 rounds to go? 2 rounds? No,
four rounds to go. Watkins.
4 rounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all to play for, really. Is what
Very
I'm
good.
doing.
Just make sure that the rig isn't lost in transit coming back from uni.
I'll be fine. Just whether we can rebuild it. No, to be
Does
fair,
that
it's
put
pretty
you
easy.
in back? Is that back where you were like a while ago when you used to be in the next room, or one was in the garage and someone else was indoors? Is that what will happen when you? Yeah.
I'll be in the living room, so my parents get kicked out.
Do they not go to the hot cabin?
Oh, well, to be fair, they do actually, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't think they did tonight. But Jack obviously will be getting his half pint, so there you go. What a result!
Very good, very good. Well, great to chat to you, Ollie. Nice to catch up with you twice as well. Good luck with your exams or whatever you're doing at uni. Probably copious amounts of drinking as well with uni.
No. No, don't know what you're on about.
But anyway, enjoy, which is what university is about, and we'll see you next week.
See you in a bit. Cheers.
Well done, mate. Oliver Gibson, second position, and on to our race winner and also driver of the round, Jack Smith. Well done, Jack.
Thanks, mate. I didn't realise I would get driver of the round. That's a nice surprise. But yeah, no, get the quality race. Ollie was really pushing me at the start there, so I really had to get my head down and really try to try and pull a little bit of a gap, and managed to do that. And then it was just quality laps every single lap. Like, we didn't stop focusing for a single lap. I think I made one mistake and I saw him gain a little bit of time, and I was like, oh no, here we go. As soon as you give Ollie anything, he'll reel in like anything. So just had to make sure that there was no mistakes, and that's basically what we did. So really happy.
Points have worked out well. I think you've got 40 point lead now.
Is it? Okay, that's nice. Nice big buffer there.
I mean, Gabe will be a bit frustrated, I think, with this evening, but it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? It could be your turn next time, and you can close in again. So it's a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, just look at my Formula Ford season. Like, I don't think I had a round where it was like a clean round for me. So it can always happen. The next half of the season could be absolutely terrible for me. So you just never know. It's just how racing is, isn't it? So again, I'll try using the same formula I've been using for the first few races. We'll see how it goes. But really happy with the first half of the season and how that's gone. Ollie seems to be stupid quick this season. I don't know where it comes from. He just comes out of nowhere.
He's doing really well, isn't he?
Yeah, he just comes out of nowhere with this pace. I'm like, where? Like, in practice, he'd be like 3/10 off what he does in the race. I'm just like, where has this come from? He's a bit of a dark horse like that. And Gabe this season has been also ridiculously fast. So, people are about. Scott, I think, was really fast in race 3, but I'm not really sure what happened there. I don't know if he dropped back or something, but I was expecting him to join me and Ollie at the front there, but there
was a bit of contact that he had. Whether that
was
I don't know, but
let's see.
And how quickly are you on to practice for Watkins Glen?
Well, I don't know whether I'll do some tonight, to be honest. Maybe I probably will have to because of the hot lap, but I know that track, so I'm sure it won't take me that many laps to get that hot lap to Rich, and then you can have it for the next stream. There he is. He's already pestering. No, I'm joking. I think I really want to try out these GT3s we've got coming up for the next championship. I don't know if Rich has spoken about it on the stream yet, but it's looking nice. We just got to sort that out, get the cars sorted with setup, and they're looking really, really good for everyone to drive. So that's something to really look forward to for the next series, definitely.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. That'll be good fun. Rich is multitasking because he's sort of making noise and he's driving as well at the same time. So he's doing a Jack Smith at the minute.
Yeah.
Driving badly.
But you're right. You're still quicker than Lee Pearcey at the minute. So
Yeah. I'm not sure that's a good thing or not.
two teammates, so I'll sort you out. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah. So Jack Smith, well done. 2 wins, drove the round, leads the championship at the halfway point. And yep, hopefully we have some more great battles with you and Gabe and Ollie and Andy Dorman and everybody as we go on. But hope you have a good week. Thanks for entertaining us this evening and for the chat. And we'll see you same time on next Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Yeah, and big thank you to you guys as well. You always do a great broadcast. So I'm going to be watching it back in a few minutes' time. So yeah, thank you to both you and Becky and to Steve as well for doing the broadcast. It's always quality.
That's a pleasure. I hope you enjoy it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
There we go. Yeah, Rich is in the bottom. I don't know if Rich wanted to say anything, but Becky here as well. Becky, it was a nice surprise getting to work with you this evening. Obviously, shout out to Reeve and hope his mechanical maladies get sorted quickly. But nice to be back with you after missing you on the Formula Fords. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, always good to be back, and yeah, hopefully Reeve's got his car sorted, and he hopefully has been able to sit back and actually fully take in this stream, as he's off to Nurburgring in a couple of weeks, I think he said. So he always said he was going to take some notes, so he might be dropping some of the drivers a few messages to ask for some tips and pointers. But yeah, another good evening of racing. So, and I should be taking a break next week. So sorry, I promised everybody you were going to get a 2-week break from me, and all of a sudden I was back again. You thought you got rid of me? Didn't happen. I'm always just lurking in the background, you see. So I will be back for round 6, I believe.
Good. Well, we look forward to that. Take care. Enjoy your racing on multi-screens this weekend.
That will do. Good luck to everybody that's out on track.
Indeed. Have a good one. Rich Hayden's just had a crash with the environment, according to the screen. So,
Thanks
are you still there? You're still there, Rich? Sorry.
Thanks for that.
It was nice to see you at the weekend, and I'll say thanks again to Alan Bowles for the looking after us and giving us somewhere to watch. And it was a really lovely day. Thoroughly enjoyed the racing.
Yeah, it was great. It's a great weekend, and always good racing with those Formula Fords. So yeah, it was fun.
It's Formula Ford is the future. It really
Absolutely.
is. I just wish people would get behind it for youngsters with new cars and allow some of the youngsters in. Maybe we should just work with what we got and get the 16-year-olds in it as a starting place rather than worry about getting 15-year-olds like F4. But those conversations, I'm sure, will happen. Cracking job from Steve Allen again, as always. Good to catch up with Steve. My first time on this one. And thanks to Ian Danaher. I think that's it from everyone. Rich, did you want to add anything else, or are you okay?
No, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, we're going to. We've launched, obviously, like Jack alluded to earlier on. We've launched World Endurance League, which starts 2nd of June. 3 GT3 cars: the Aston Martin Vantage, the BMW M4, and the McLaren 720S. So really good choice of cars. Myself and Jack have been doing a lot of testing in them, and they are absolutely epic cars. A little bit of a change up in the format. We're going to do 2 30-minute races and then a 15-minute sprint. But rounds 4 and 8 to 61. Sorry, each round is 1 60-minute race worth double points. So we'll get a little bit of strategy into the next championship with pit stops and stuff. So that should be fun.
I might ping some names from the past to try and join us.
That'd be great.
That. Not people that have commentated that I think should be on track, who've got an endurance. What's the word? Endurance enthusiasm is probably the best word. So we'll try and get them involved. But right, I'm going to let everyone go because it's 10 to 9 and I need to go and get something to eat and drink. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Becky. Good luck Reeve. Have a lovely week everybody. Enjoy your racing at the weekend. If you are racing, stay safe. More importantly, be nice to each other. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
The inside of coats.
Watkins gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.